Hey guys, lesson 26 in module 5 here, and we're going to continue our work with whole number fractions. So we did that in lesson 25 using visual models, and this time we're going to use number bonds and number lines to do that same sort of concept. I showed you a little bit of that at the end of the last lesson, and here we go. We're going to pick up and keep going with it in a little bit different way today. So, we like to show you a bunch of different ways to do things because different ways work for different kids. So in this, the directions are to partition the line to show the fractional unit. So the fractional unit that they're wanting us to do is listed to the left of each number line, halves on the first one, thirds on the second one. We're going to fill in the blanks, and we're going to draw number bonds for each whole. So the whole number will go in there, and the copies we're going to make are going to be copies of one whole. So that's going to make more sense when we do it. So let's just get started. So we have to divide each half or each whole into halves. So I'm going to do that thing where I color the lines again, because I think it helps you understand what it is we're looking at here. So I have two wholes here, so two different colors. I hope that's showing up well enough for you. So the first one I need to split into half. And there, it's green on my screen. I hope it's green on yours as well. And then my next whole I have to also split in half. So I have two halves here making up one whole, and two halves here making up one whole. So when I'm at 0, when I'm right here, how many halves have been colored in or shaded in? 0 halves have been shaded in. So we have 0 over 2. 0 equals 0 over 2. So my number bond would say 0, and I'd have nothing coming off of it because there's no holes coming off of it. When I get all the way up to 1, how many halves have I gone through? Well, I did that one there, and I did this one here. That's 2. I did 2 halves. I probably should put 0 on this one. I see how they want it filled out now. So 1 equals 2 halves. One whole is the equivalent of 2 halves. So you see how I just have one thing coming off of here? That 2 over 2, that equals 1. So that's the only thing I need coming off of my one whole. Now I shift into a new color. I'm marking on my second whole here. I've already used 2 halves. Here's my third half and my fourth half. So 2 equals 4 halves. Okay, so I have 2 halves here, and I need another 2 halves here. So like you could almost think of this, like I could almost outline them here, like in the first color and the second color. I'm not sure that's coming out great on your screen. I don't think that the color you're seeing is necessarily the same as the color that I'm seeing here, like it should be. But you could make like color code them to say like that's one whole and that's a separate whole, and I can see where they correspond on the number line. Like that helps me identify where that whole came from and where this whole came from. Okay, I'm going to grab a different marker for one of these, see if that works a little bit better. We'll try a brown one and see what that does. Okay, let's work on thirds here. So again, notice I'm starting at 2 wholes here. It's always important to check your whole numbers. We don't always start at 0. So I have between 2 and 3 is one color. Oh yeah, I think that's gonna show up better for you guys. And between 3 and 4 is a different color. And I'm splitting each whole into thirds. So split that whole into thirds and split that whole into thirds. So when I have 2 wholes, how many thirds do I have? Ooh, well, I remember that I can multiply my whole number times my denominator to get my numerator. So 2 times 3 is 6. So 6 thirds. Now 2 wholes, that's one whole is 3 thirds and another whole is 3 thirds. So I have 3 thirds here, 3 thirds there. That's a total of 6 thirds. Okay. Now when I go up to three holes, right? I have already had 6/3, and I'm adding 7, 8, 9. I'm adding 3 more. So I'm taking what I had here, 6, because I was at 6 holes or 6/3 there. Then this is the 7th third, the 8th third, and the 9th third. When I get up to 3 holes, I've had 9/3. So the way I show that is 3/3, that's my first hole. Another 3/3, that's my second third. And a third hole, which is I can even color code that one. That's the only one that shows up on our number line, but that's where that last one came from. And then I start from 9/3. I go 10, 11, 12. At 4 holes, I have 12/3, and I can double check that. I could say 4 holes times 3 in the denominator is 12, and that is correct. And again, I can start with 3/3 for my first hole, another 3/3 for my second hole, a third 3/3 for my third hole, and a fourth 3/3 for my fourth hole. I'm only color coding those two because those are the only two that show up on our number line. The other two would have taken the spot over here, but we did not have those. We did not have those filled in because they were not part of our number line. Okay, so again, that's review. That's we haven't necessarily done it in this way, like this format, but we've done the color coding. We've been able to identify the whole number fractions on a number line. We've done number bonds, just not with holes in as the copies. But all of that should be pretty familiar. Okay, this part says, sorry, the marker bled through a little bit, but it says write fractions that name the whole numbers for each fractional unit. So for 2 holes, 3 holes, and 4 holes. So for thirds, I would go 3 times 3 equals, or 3 times 2 holes, sorry. This is 2 holes, 3 holes, and 4 holes. I wish they organized this a little bit better. So 3 times 2 is 6/3. 3 times 3 is 9/3. And 3 times 4 is 12/3. That equals 4. So then fourths, I'd say 4 times, and I'm going to multiply 4 times 2 to get 8/4 equals 2. 4 times 3 is 12/4 equals 3. 4 times 4 is 16/4, which equals 4. Same thing for 6. I'm going to multiply 6, that's my denominator essentially, times the whole number 2 to get 12/6. 6 times 3 to get 18/6, and 6 times 4 to get 24/6. You can see where that multiplication fluency comes in. Being able to just know your multiplication facts like we've been practicing really helps you be able to do this work because you can focus on the fraction aspect of it and not worrying about just trying to do the multiplication aspect. All right, we have 2 word problems here. The first one, number 3, says, Sammy uses 1/4 meter of wire every day to make things. Draw a number line that represents 1 meter of wire. So 1 whole meter. He starts with 0, he ends at 1. Okay, partition the number line to represent how much Sammy uses each day. Well, we saw that he uses 1/4, so I'm going to separate my number line into 4 pieces. Day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4. How many days does the wire last? Okay, well, this is, like I said, day 1, so 1/4 wire, 2/4, 3/4, 4/4. It lasts 4 days. Right? He uses this on day 1, this on day 2, this on day 3, that on day 4. All right, how many? So I know 1 meter equals 4 days. Well, how much does 3 meters last? So 3 meters times 4 days per meter equals 12 meters. And another way you could have drawn that is you could have drawn a number line that went to 3 holes. Like I could have extended this out to 3 and saw that I had 12 fourths essentially. So that would be each day he used 1/4 for 12 days. So I could have done it that way as well. Either way is fine. Both are strategies we worked on this year, so you can do it whichever way you're more comfortable with. The next one says Cindy feeds her dog 1/3 pound of dog food each day. Draw a number line to represent 1 pound of food. So again, that's simple, right? 0 pounds, 1 pound. Partition the number line to represent how much food she uses each day. So they told us she uses 1/3. So I'm separating this into thirds. That's my fractional unit. So I have 0/3, 1/3, 2/3, 3/3. So that equals 1 pound. 3/3 is 1 pound. That's where that work we've done with whole number fractions is coming in. Draw another number line to represent 4 pounds of food. Okay. After 3 days, how many pounds of food has she given her dog? That's two different problems right there. 2 different parts of this problem. So I'm going to draw a number line. 0 to 4. And I'm going to label the holes in here. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Those are my whole pounds there. And I need to split each into thirds. Okay. So I have 0/3. I'm going to label the whole thing. 1/3, 2/3, 3/3, 4/3, 5/3, 6/3, 7/3, 8/3, 9/3, 10/3, 11/3, and 12/3. Okay. So it says I've now done this first part, right? I've represented 4 pounds of food on my number line. This is 4 pounds. After 3 days, how many pounds of food has she given her dog? Okay, so on day 0, she's given 0/3. Then day 1, she's given 1/3. Day 2, she's given 2/3. Day 3, she's given 3/3. Day 3 equals 3/3 equals 1 pound. So she's given 1 pound on the 3rd day. This is day 1, day 2, day 3. And then she's given 1 pound. So day 1, day 2, day 3. And the thing is, you don't count the 0/3. Like you wouldn't start here and say 1, 2, 3, because she hasn't started that. That's before she's begun. After 6 days, how many pounds of food is she giving her dog? So 3 days, 4 days, 5 days, 6 days. She's given 2 pounds equals 6/3. That's 6 days giving 1/3 each pound. That's another way to think of it. 6 days giving 1/3 each day. All right, then that's it. That's again work that similar to work that we've done this module, especially in the last 2 weeks or so. Not really new, just it's review, and it's a slight build on some stuff that we've done. So hopefully we're feeling pretty confident with this. We spent a lot of time with whole number fractions, and I'm hoping that all that practice is paying off for you.